Hi, everybody. I hope that you are having a good day. My name is Veronica Hernandez, and my research focuses on the policy analysis of employment and housing barriers for ex-offenders of color and the generalizational impact that it has on families. I would like to apologize in advance if my dogs start barking. That's out of my hands. I am the only one doggy sitting today, so please forgive me in advance, okay? So going back into my topic here, reintegration after incarceration is a critical turning point, and it often determines whether someone succeeds or returns back into prison. But for people of color, systematic barriers makes this transition even harder, creating cycles of poverty and disadvantage. So my goal was to examine those barriers and recommend policies that break those cycles. Throughout my review by the literature, there are three common themes that actually stand out. So the first one is systematic discrimination in employment. Studies by Radisson, Imatep, and Quarton show that racial bias in hiring still is very widespread. Even nonviolent offenders with strong qualifications are rejected often because of their background checks. And for Black men and women of color, unemployment rates after incarceration are 35 to 43%. This is far higher than the national average, and this lack of opportunity fuels poverty and increases the risk of reoffending. Second, this is housing barriers and legal restrictions. So Wang and Dante document how prior convictions can be used to deny housing even when the individual has been rehabilitated. Many of these studies still allow landlords to reject applicants solely based on their criminal record. Without stable housing, it's difficult to find or keep a job, and the chances of reoffending actually rise, creating a revolving door back into prison. Third, the generational impact that it has on families. Bernard's research shows that unemployment and housing instability harms children's education, their mental health, and future opportunities. This leads to multi-generational poverty and contributes to the school-to-prison pipeline, disproportionately affecting communities of color. And these patterns extend far beyond the individuals and the impact on the entire families, neighborhoods, and communities. While the literature is valuable, there are several weaknesses. So many studies have small sample sizes, and this limits generalizability. A lot of this research relies heavily on personal stories without enough statistical data to support the policy changes. There's also geographic and temporal gaps. Some studies focus on one area or use outdated information that doesn't reflect on current realities. Finally, most research examines these issues in isolation, often focusing only on employment while ignoring housing, mental health, and generalization of poverty. So my research aims to address these very gaps. With a comprehensive policy analysis, I am going to look at employment and housing barriers altogether, along with their combined effect on families and their communities. I will examine existing laws, identify discrimination practices, and explore policy reforms that can reduce recidivism and create equitable opportunities. In closing, reintegration is not just about the individual. It's about breaking cycles that have existed for generations. By tackling employment and housing barriers at the same time, I really feel as though we can create stability, restore dignity, and open real pathways for change. This is the goal of my very research, and I believe it can help build a fairer and more just society. With all this being said, I hope that I've given you food for thought and given you the opportunity to think about these situations that happen in real life. And I appreciate the opportunity that I had to be able to do this video recording, and I wish you well on your research. Thank you so much and have a great day. Bye.